Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Coltus back again with another logic video concerning dreams. Today we're going to be talking about how to create a side-scrolling background or backdrop or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to start with the normal business. First you're going to need to know what two-dimensional plane your ship is on. This is the ship, and this is its movement axis. I won't be talking about the logic of how I created the ship, because that's a separate subject, but if you want to know about it, just pipe up in the comments and tell me, and maybe we'll make a tutorial about how to build the ship. This red thing kind of indicates the screen ending position. So if we're in camera mode, we can see that's kind of the end of the screen over there. And the moon and these paint fleck stars are just stationary in front of the layer that will be our background, because the stars and the moon don't tend to travel with the backdrop. I mean, in real life, they tend to be stationary no matter what's moving. And this is our backdrop, which is made up of a group. First I have the background painting, which is just a sculpt that I spray painted with various colors. Then we have these mountains, and make sure everything is non-collidable in here. L1 and X to open up the tweak menu, and just tap X till this collidable icon turns dark. And I did it with everything in here. And you can have, you know, clouds. This is the foreground clouds. These are the background clouds. And you may notice that we've got two frames here. One background looks like this, and the other looks like this. The difference is they're slightly altered in appearance to kind of shake things up and not feel, you know, make it seem like it's just a repeating, you know, image. You could have even more, and it probably would help with the illusion that there's actually a change in the background, like you're traveling over a real landscape of some kind. But I went with two frames just to demonstrate the basics. Next, we've got our sculpt right here, invisible and non-collidable, with a microchip mounted on it, a microchip called emitter, because that's what it does. Inside here we have a timeline set to loop, and inside that timeline we have two emitters. One emits the first frame, the other emits the second frame. And you kind of have to time it properly so that they roughly sync up with each other, you know. So you can move it with R2, just grab it, hold R2 and pull it along, or you can extend or shorten this by pressing X and just grabbing the side, like so. R2 moves the whole timeline around if you have to reposition it. But that's pretty much how you do that. You can also change the speed, but the speed is pretty much as it should be right now. And this creates our background loop. Let me go ahead and hide this since we don't really need it anymore. And it's a pretty good, you know, moving background. Now there is one little extra thing which you may have noticed, which is when we start out, we have this brief phase where the background isn't visible. So what do we do to get around that? And my personal opinion is that the quickest and easiest way to get around that would be simply have a timeline set to play once, put a wiper on it, set the wiper to transition via color, make it black, turn the fade in time to 0, and just make it extend it as long as you have to for the duration. And then when you come out, you know, it should show the proper background. Something else that might help is real games sometimes need time to load in things, so what you could do is put something like this there. In the center of the screen. Like so. And that's how you load into the level. Just use a simple text displayer and a wiper. Now, alternatively, if you don't like this method, if you think, oh, this is way too much time to waste on a transition or whatever, alternatively, you can just copy this, stick it on here, call it entrance, and just move the scenery ahead. Yeah, there's one frame. You're going to need this tweak menu to be open, L1 and square. Just keep them open while you're positioning. And this will basically create an artificial background just for the intro of the level. That is if you want the load time to be a little shorter. Oop, too high. Gonna have to move it down a bit. Just get it roughly, yeah, just make it so it matches these assets over here. Let's see if this works. Kind of a gap, obviously. It's probably because we should just put them all in the first frame. That'll emit them all at once. And there you go. That's the other way you can create an entrance. I personally prefer the loading method because I think it's just a little bit more... this one takes a lot longer to set up and it's a little more annoying, so having a longer loading screen would be my choice, although that can be a bit annoying if you have to restart the level a lot. So consider all different options when it comes to player convenience. But that's pretty much as simple as it is. I guess one other thing I should mention is that these emitters are set to play once, and you have to make sure that the lifetime is long enough so that they'll actually go off screen and disappear. I've made the lifetime 13 seconds, but depending on how wide your screen is, it may have to be longer or shorter. Because they do actually disappear if we look over here. It's going to take a while, but they'll disappear. Yeah, there they go. They're disappearing. Another thing to keep in mind is the complexity of your background can run up your gameplay thermo depending on how many different objects are in the group, so keep that in mind. But I feel like for a good background you probably want it to be somewhat simplistic anyway, so yeah, probably don't knock yourself out putting too many weird details in the background unless that's part of the art design for some reason. But hopefully you found this helpful when you're making your own side-scrolling shooter. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was an insightful video or otherwise enjoyable. If it was, then go ahead and subscribe if you can, and hit the bell to keep up with our videos. Also, subscribed or not, give a like. If you have any questions or statements, leave a comment. We try to answer all comments. If you like what we do here and want to help out, consider becoming a channel member. Alternatively, you can check out the link in the description to support us through Patreon. Until next time, take it easy. That's all for now.